everyone, this is Katie Richardson, one of the librarians at Belleville West High School. Today, I'm going to be walking you through how to use our Gale Databases, which is a tool that your students can use to help them figure out topics and find articles for research. I will also show you how your students can easily use NoodleTools to cite their sources. Normally, when we teach NoodleTools to the students, we have them pull it up in a separate tab and get logged in first, because it will make the citation portion a little bit easier. However, I will get more in depth with NoodleTools towards the end of this session. To begin, you'll need to navigate to the library website. I'm going to be using the West website, but Gale will look the same no matter which website you access it from. So I'm going to start by going to bths201.org/west and then scroll through the menu on the right-hand side until I see Library and Media Center. You're now looking at our library's homepage. On the top, you'll see we have several different tabs. Hover over Research Resources and then click on the Databases link. If you are accessing the database from your house for the first time, you will need to log in. The password for West is BW Library. That's BW Library, all one word and lowercase letters. For East, the password is Lancers, also all lowercase letters. Here we have several different databases to choose from that students can utilize depending on your class or the topic they are researching. I will be using PowerSearch today for this demonstration. PowerSearch is a great starting database because it has a lot of general information, but you can see that we also have several others, such as Opposing Viewpoints, which would be a good database to use for seeing different sides of hot button issues. And we also have a few subject-specific databases like science or US history. To open PowerSearch, I'm just going to click on the PowerSearch icon. And this is the main homepage for Gale PowerSearch. The first function that I'm going to show you is called Topic Finder, which can be used to think of a topic or to narrow down a broad topic. So to open that, I'm going to look under Search Tools and then click on the link that says Go to Topic Finder. On this page, make sure that you are typing in the search bar under the Topic Finder heading. I think Topic Finder works best if you have more of a broad topic in mind that you need to narrow down. For example, if I'm interested in researching more about social media, I'm going to type that in the box. And this will help me figure out which aspect of social media I'm most interested in and that I would want to focus on for a project or paper. So the first view that comes up is the tile view, but I'm going to click the circle next to wheel and look at the wheel view instead. Wheel view is my favorite, but you can play around in both settings and see what you like best. So here you can see that the wheel view is broken down by an inner ring that has bigger themes within my topic and an outer ring that breaks the subtopic down into even more specific areas. So if I were to just click on mental health, that will pull up several articles that are all just related to mental health. You can see here in parentheses, there's 29 articles. But if I wanted to look further into mental health, I could click on one of the smaller areas and other articles would pull up, but there's less, so only 6 here. But if your students have a topic that is too broad and they're needing to narrow it down, Topic Finder is a really good way for them to kind of play around, see what all is out there, more specifically in their topic, and maybe find a focus that they are interested in. So definitely encourage them to just kind of play around in this, click on different articles, check out different subtopics that are within their main overall topic. So to open an article, you just click on the title, and that pulls you into the article that you can read. And in a little bit, I'm going to go over all of the different features and tools that your students will be able to use from the article itself. But for now, I'm going to talk about keyword searching. So I want to get back to my Power Search homepage, and to do that, I can click on the orange Gale Power Search heading here, and I could do that from anywhere within the database to get back to this homepage. Directly under the search bar, you should see the link that says Advanced Search. So I'm going to click on that. And I want to note again that all the Gale databases are going to look similar to this and have the advanced search function to search with keywords, whether you're in Power Search, Opposing Viewpoints, or subject-specific databases, they will all look the same. So keyword search is best when your students already have more of an idea of the topic they want to research. Keyword searching can sometimes be a difficult concept for students because if they are too broad, there will be too many articles that may not relate to the topic they chose. But if they're too specific, it may not pull up enough articles. So we like to work with them to show them different ways that they can get the best results. So just for an example, I would usually show them what happens if they type in something that's too broad. So if I were to only put in social media, you can see here that brings up thousands of articles. This would be way too many to look through, and it might not be specifically what they're interested in for social media. So I'm going to go back and add in a second term, mental health, and see what I get with that. Something else that we also like to encourage the students to do is spend some time brainstorming alternate keywords that they could use to also get more results, because sometimes you'll see students get stuck on their same keywords and they're not really finding good information, but they get frustrated. So spending some time ahead of time going over alternate keywords that they could use tends to be helpful for them once they get into the database. If you are ever interested in having one of the librarians help teach keyword searches to your students, please let us know because we would love to work with you. And so after I type in my terms here, I'm just going to hit search. And you can see I have way fewer articles, and it's probably going to be a little bit easier for me to find something that is relevant to my topic. So on this page, there are several features that I want to point out. Across the top, Gale has automatically separated my sources by type. So I can see there are 30 magazine articles related to this subject, 37 academic journals, 17 book sources, 770 newspaper articles, and 18 videos. So if I were interested in a newspaper article specifically, I may want to go and add in a third search term to narrow this down a little more, because 700 is still a lot of articles. So maybe if I were more focused on teens or young adults specifically, I could add that in as a third search term to get some fewer news results. And then I also just wanted to touch on the video feature again. I think it's really convenient that our databases will also pull videos for the students to watch as just another source type. Sometimes they get tired of reading, so it might be helpful for them to watch a video source. On the right-hand side over here, there are a few more ways to filter the results. I could do publication date, which would definitely be helpful depending on what my topic is. I might want to only look at articles from a certain year, only recent articles, so I could put in a date range here. Filtering by subject, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but I do tell them to look at the different subjects, because this could be a good place to brainstorm some of those alternate keywords if I'm getting stuck and using the same ones. So for example, I searched using mental health, but maybe anxiety would be a good alternate keyword, or maybe if I wanted to focus in more specifically on anxiety related to social media, I could use that instead. You can also sort by document type, as you can see here, or Lexile measure, which could be a good way to find more accessible articles. If your student maybe is at a lower reading level, that could be an option. To open an article, you just, again, click on the title. So I'm going to open an academic journal article that sounds like it may be good for my topic that I'm interested in. And so now I'm going to go over some of the features and tools that students are able to utilize from the article itself. And I will end by explaining how to use NoodleTools to cite an article directly from Gale, which makes it super easy for your students. So some of the accessibility tools are located underneath the heading. There's a translate function, which could be really good for English language learners. As you can see, there are lots of different languages that you can translate to. You can change the font size to make it bigger. And you can also click the listen button and it will read the article to the student, which is, again, some students learn best by listening, so that could be a really good option for them. To the right-hand side of the article, there are going to be some similar articles that they may be interested in reading. And again, I like to point out this related subjects to them because this could help them think of alternate keywords for their searching again. So that can be convenient for them. All right, up in the right-hand corner is what I refer to as my toolbox, because this is where I have a lot of different features that I can utilize to help me with doing more things with this article. So as I'm reading through it, I may find a quote that I want to use for my paper or my project. So I can highlight that using my mouse. And that brings up this highlight feature where I can click on it and actually highlight it within the article. And I could also jot down a note to remind myself why this quote stood out to me. So maybe use as evidence for one of my paragraphs and save it. So now in my toolbox with this first highlights and notes icon, I just click directly on that and it will show me all my different highlights and notes. I do like to remind the students that they have to send this to themselves before they leave the article, or else it will not save. And we like to tell the students, just get in the habit of sending yourself any article that you even think you might use, because then it's already compiled for you. You don't have to worry about trying to go back and find it later. So another feature my toolbox has is this paper airplane send to button. And then I can just send this directly to my Google Drive, and it will send me my article. It will send me any highlights and notes that I took. And what I love about the Gale Databases is that it automatically creates a folder on their drive called Gale Power Search that will have everything in that folder already. So it makes it super easy for them. But some other options that they have, they can download the article to their device if they wanted to do that. They could print it out if they needed a hard copy for some reason. And there's also this get link button if they needed a shareable link. Something else that we like to point out to the students is that this link in the URL box will not work to get back to the article. This is just a special link that's created while they're in here searching, and it will not actually take them back to this article later on. So if for any reason they needed a link, they have to use this get link option. Okay, last but not least, our other tool that we have here is citing. So there are a couple different options with this. The students can copy and paste the citation if they don't use NoodleTools in your class. However, we have free access to NoodleTools because our district pays for it, and it really is a great resource to utilize. If the students are using articles from Gale, they can automatically send it to NoodleTools. So to do that, under Export, click on NoodleTools. And from this page, they would need to hit log in now if they hadn't already done it. So I want to walk you through what this looks like to log in from this screen. But as I mentioned earlier, we often will have our students already logged in and set up to NoodleTools so that they can automatically send it over. But I'm going to show you both ways that you can do that. So from Gale, I will hit login now. And we have them log in using Google because they will use their school Gmail account. And I need to pick my correct email. So if they have never logged into NoodleTools before and it's the first time, there will be a prompt for them to select their school and grade level before it takes them into the actual NoodleTools dashboard here. But since I have used it before, it will just automatically open up my account. And this is going to be for a new project. So I need to click this green new project button on the left-hand side. And now I will enter my project title. So you could have them put in your class and the project title or whatever is easiest for them. So I'm just going to do example project. And then they can choose their citation style. I'm going to keep it in MLA, but if your class uses a different citation style, obviously they could choose one of those. And for a citation level, we tell them to keep it at this advanced already, because if they ever have to manually put in a source, this is going to allow them to have all the options that they need. And then I'll just hit submit. This is the dashboard of my specific project. So you can see there are lots of different details that I could add in here if I wanted to do that. A really handy one that we show them is this to-do list, because they can kind of check that off as they go. It could help keep them organized. But for now, I'm just going to leave it as is. So because I'm logging in for the first time, I now need to toggle back to my Power Search screen where my article is at and do the export again. So I'll just hit that one more time. And now when you look at the bottom, since I'm logged in, I can import my citation to my project. And because I just created the example project, the one I'm working on, that is the first one that comes up. But if for some reason I had multiple and I needed to change it, I would just click on the arrow and change it to whichever project I was working on. So I'm going to import my references. And if it works correctly, this green bar should come up at the top that tells you it was successfully exported. And now I'm going to go to the NoodleTools tab I already pulled up. And I just wanted to show you if the students are logging in for the first time by going to noodletools.com, you're just going to hit the login button. And then it's taking me directly to my page because I'm already logged in, but you would just go through the process again of selecting Google and using their Gmail account. But now I can click on my project here, example project, and it will automatically take me to the dashboard. So at the top where there's a couple different tabs, I'm going to click on sources, and I can see now that my database source is already in here. So that's how you pull sources or export them directly from the databases. As I said, it's super easy. There's not a lot of work involved for the students, but I wanted to show you how to manually add sources because that is something that they may eventually need to do. So from my project page, I am going to click the green new source button here. And I have a couple different options. First, I need to decide where my citation is from. Most likely they will be using website because if it's a database source, then they can just export it directly there. But they could also do printer in hand if they had a physical book or handout from class, or if they actually went to a lecture or a speech, it could be viewed or heard live, but most likely they'll be using website. So once I click on that, I need to figure out what that website is. Some common options may be blog, a web page, or maybe a newspaper or magazine website. Over here, these are options for videos. So video clip may be one. I want to show you a feature that I really like about NoodleTools because it will always tell you everything you need to know. So if I had watched something on YouTube and I wasn't sure if it was a video clip or video recording, I could click on that, and this yellow box will tell me a little more information. So use this form to cite a complete film originally in theaters or published on DVD. So obviously my YouTube video wasn't like that, but it tells me a video clip on YouTube is cited differently and it links it. So when I click on that, it takes me directly to the correct form that I need. I like to tell students, though, that NoodleTools always has their back. So if they do fill in a bunch of information and it turns out it was the wrong formatting, they can simply edit it. And then up here where it says citing from, they could change it if they needed to, and it would change the formatting to the appropriate way that it needed to be cited. We also always tell our students to make sure that they have up the tab with whatever they're citing along with NoodleTools, because it makes it easy for them to just toggle back and forth. And so I am going to be using this TED Talk video that I found on YouTube that is related to my topic to kind of walk you through what this looks like to cite it. So first I need the URL, easy just to copy and paste that. The date of publication is here underneath my video, June 22nd, 2017. And the most recent date of access today, so I can click on that and it fills in the date for me automatically. The title of my video clip, again, I can just copy and paste that. We do tell them sometimes they need to be on the lookout because once in a while they may find the title, especially when they're reading articles, that they're manually putting in the title might be in all capital letters. And of course that isn't MLA style, so they would need to change it to lowercase. But NoodleTools will tell you if you have any questions. This blue eye comes up and it will explain to you what needs to be done. So capitalize the first letter of the first word. I believe if we had it in all caps, it would, yeah, check to be sure you aren't capitalizing entire words. So it will actually come up and let you know if you need to fix something to make sure that it is in the appropriate style. Okay, name of the site, YouTube, publisher of the site. And again, if I wasn't sure, what does that mean? What's the publisher? I could click on my information blue eye here and it tells me leave this field blank if, and it walks me through some more information. This bottom one says leave it blank if this site is just a service or archive not involved in producing the works it makes available. So YouTube itself doesn't actually create these videos, so then I would know to leave that blank. And then my contributors, who it's posted by, and it is posted by TEDx Talks. So I will put that in the group, last name or group, TEDx Talks. And then there's also an option here where I can add an annotation. So if you were asking your students to make an annotated bibliography, they could type that in this area here. But I'm going to go ahead and click save. And then it automatically puts it under my sources for my project. So once I have all of my sources completed and I'm ready to print that out or put it with my paper, I'm going to go to the top here and select the print export drop down, and I can send that directly to my Google Docs. So click on that. And this automatically opens up a new doc for me where everything is already formatted to MLA. And so I can print this out on its own, or I could copy and paste it and put it in with my paper or project if I wanted to do that. So that is a brief overview of NoodleTools. And again, if you have any questions on any of this, please reach out to any of your librarians. We would be happy to work with you further on this. We would love to come in and teach any of this to your students, whether it is on the Gale Databases, so using Topic Finder, doing keyword searches, sending those articles to the Google Drive, using NoodleTools to cite. We would love to work with you more on that. So thank you so much for listening.